Hi, everyone, and welcome to our online hangout space. Hashtag chat up, real talk, real impact. I'm your host, Germaine de Ruña, and as usual, here on Chat Up, we'll take on some of the issues talked about on social media and other current events. Then we ask ourselves, what can we do about it? Join us in this online program brought to you by Quarantalk Media and supported by the United States Embassy in the Philippines. Here, we encourage you to chat up and not shut up. So keep your messages and questions coming. Also, invite your friends to listen in and join in our chat. Share this live stream and use our official hashtags, hashtag chat up and hashtag real talk, real impact. Let's now dive into tonight's discussion and find out what's up. November is National Entrepreneurship Month in the United States. And for 1 week, every November, the US embassies and consulates around the world organize various events to celebrate the spirit of entrepreneurship and inspire people of different backgrounds to follow the footsteps of great entrepreneurs. And so today, we will tackle entrepreneurship and more specifically, how enterprises contribute to social good. Feel free to join in this conversation and chat with us through our comment section where you may send in your questions and share your thoughts. Let's get into it. Joining us are some of our homegrown entrepreneurs and leaders in the entrepreneurship and startup ecosystem in the Philippines. Let's call them in. Starting with Katrina Chan, Executive Director of Kubo, Philippines. We
Hi, good
also have,
evening, and
hi,
great to
hi
be here.
Katrina. Hi. We also have with us Patch Dulay, the founder of the Spark Project.
Hi, me. Thanks for having me here
Hi,
tonight.
Patch. Thank you. And completing our lineup is Jocelle Mamaril, the OIC of the Planning and Programming Division of the DTI Philippine Trade Training Center. Hi, Miss Joy.
Hi, good evening. Thank you for inviting me.
Of course, and welcome to the show, everyone, and thank you once again for joining us today. Again, to our viewers, please feel free to join in our conversation via the comment section, and we'll take time to read your messages and questions if you have any. All right, thanks again for being with us tonight. Let's start with our conversation by debunking this very common thoughts and myths about businesses being evil and only out for self-interest. No, we've heard about this all the time. So I'm going to ask all of you, when we talk about entrepreneurship for social good, how do you define social good? And in what ways do you see enterprises, especially here in the Philippines, contributing to the good of society for one? Let me start with Katrina.
Sure. Thanks, Maine. I think for me, this is such a big myth, no, na
Right,
parang just because someone's doing well, it's not an evil thing, di ba?
right,
Um, so for me, some great examples, I guess, is probably the best way to debunk a myth, no? Um, at the end of the day,
At the end of the day,
when we
you
create
know,
when
when
enterprises make profit, it's because people also profit, no? So a lot of the services and the goods that are being made, not just by big businesses but also small startups, are really there to
right,
solve a problem for you, for society, and um, yun nga, um, there might be some counter examples to this, I'm sure, no? Pero for the most part, I would say na parang who doesn't benefit from, I don't know, faster
I don't
internet
know,
or
faster
having a service
having
available to you when you need it right then and there, diba? So, and whenever a startup solves a problem, whenever a business solves a problem, they're actually creating value within the society. And sure, like the shareholders profit from that. If you invest in them, you might profit from that directly. But I think no business can survive or thrive for that matter if they didn't actually create value. And in on that point, no, as long as we're creating jobs, we're creating good for the world, and we're making our lives better, easier in some kind of metric, then social good is being created. So I don't think there's really a conflict, no. I think that conflict, if it even exists, is overblown.
Right. So creating value and giving people jobs, that's impact in itself, right? Kat, sorry for this, but can you please check the connection of your mic? We can hear some feedback from your end. There's some feedback
Sure.
there.
Let me,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll
Oh,
do that.
sure,
But
sure.
yeah.
Okay. So while you're doing that, let me ask that question to Patch. So, how do you see or define social good here in the Philippines?
Yeah, it's actually such a difficult question, I think,
Right.
but I think the answer could be really simple. When you talk about business, of course, it's about creating or doing business for profit. And when we talk about social enterprise or social entrepreneurship or business for good, I think it boils down for me to the character of the ones leading it. It's a conscious decision by the people leading the organization to be more aware of how their organization is affecting society. Maybe big or small. You may be a small business, you affect a community. You may be a large multinational who affects more lives, more the whole nation.
Right.
So for me, doing business for good is something that starts from the leadership, where the way it's more about what it's not about like what their product is, but how they do business and how it affects like the larger society.
Thanks, Patch. And that's a beautiful answer. The intentionality behind it and the leadership that goes with it. Thank you so much. How about Miss Joy? How do you define social good here in the Philippines and doing business?
Hi, thanks for that. Actually, I would like to agree with both Kat and Patch. And I'd like to focus siguro dun sa na-mention kanina about profit. Kasi
Right.
hindi naman siya laging money, hindi siya laging
Mm,
monetary. When entrepreneurs put up their own micro, small, and medium enterprises, na-mention na kanina, they create jobs. And those
mm,
jobs, they feed the families of the workers. So that's already a social good in itself. Additionally po, yung mga nagtatrabaho, they also increase their skills. They
right.
reskill, they upgrade their skills. So that's also a profit. Hindi man siya monetary. So technically talaga, hindi siya evil. It's actually doing more good than evil.
Right.
And another thing about entrepreneurship is that you're not just doing a business. You're making something better. That's the difference between just merely putting up a business and actually being an entrepreneur. So I actually think that yung ating mga kasama ngayon sa ating show, they're living proof that
Right.
entrepreneurship is not evil.
Yes. Nga po, no, impact, added value, not just for your own business or your enterprise, but for the people working for you and the people around you, no? Ang ganda po ng mga nagiging discussion natin. Very beautiful answers, very insightful answers. So I have this question specifically for Patch, no? The Spark Project, di ba, Patch, has always been about helping others make and scale their impact. Can you briefly introduce your platform to our viewers?
Sure. So the Spark Project is a crowdfunding website. We're
Mm,
also a platform, a community for creative and social enterprises. So our mission is really to help creative and social entrepreneurs get started in their business and
mm-mm,
scale in their business. So kind of like journey with them. And we do this in, I would say, like three ways. First is through crowdfunding, which when
mm-mm.
we started out really trying to bridge that gap between the idea of the entrepreneur and the funds that needed to get things started. Sometimes you don't need a lot of money naman eh. That's our rationale. Sometimes to get started, you don't need, big sums of money. Sometimes you
Right.
need just that spark. So one is through crowdfunding, giving them access to money. Second is through training and development or
Mm-mm.
enterprise development. So
Yes.
we ventured into supplementing the platform, the crowdfunding platform that we have through learning spaces or learning activities, like we hold workshops and conferences. And third is founders development, so creating that community where they could be with peers or access mentors, so that throughout the journey, they can be able to turn their ideas into reality. So that's what we do.
Thanks, Patch. It's talaga nakita mo, it's really a hand-holding process, no, and establishing yung kakayanan and the strengths of yung mga entrepreneurship and mga um, yung mga business models na pwedeng ginagawa ng inyong mga tinutulungan na businesses. Very
Yeah.
good endeavor. Thank you, Patch. And we also have with us tonight is the founder of Phinix, Miss Pamela Mejia. Hi, Pam.
Hi guys, I'm so sorry I'm late. Manila traffic came all the way from Bataan pa. So thank you guys for waiting for me. Hello everybody.
Hi, Pam. It's all right. Thank you for being here with us tonight, despite the traffic. You made it. Okay, thanks so
Yeah.
much, Pat. Pam, thank you so much. Okay, I have another follow-up question for Patch. Actually, no. So based on your observation, because you're doing hand-holding, mentoring, crowdfunding for the startups that you're helping, no. Based on your observation and experience in starting the Spark project, what do you think is the most needed support of entrepreneurs these days?
Yeah, thanks, Mino. So, yeah, we started Spark Project way back in 2013. And over the years, I guess us also as an organization, we've evolved into the kind of service or the kind of things that we provide the social enterprise community here in the Philippines. So aside from funding, usually money naman, usually a lot of entrepreneurs say, we don't have money to start. Yes, that's true. But that I am sure Kat and the rest of our panelists would agree na it's not lang naman the money. And then you'll realize that also they would need some training or like some help in guidance, mentorship, etc. But I would think right now, specifically because of the pandemic and because of COVID, how things played out in the past 2 years, a lot of the entrepreneurs are pivoting and are looking for ways on how to survive. So I think that's something that entrepreneurs need help on. And one more thing, if I may add, the entrepreneurs here in the Philippines are very talented. They're actually very smart, and they know what they're doing. So sometimes it's not about like giving them access to money, training, etc., but providing or trying to bridge opportunities for them. So it may be like connecting them with another organization or a business that could hire them for their
Yeah.
services or buy their products. So it's a matter of like bridging opportunities. So I guess yun. So yun yung answer ko sa question, but like what have I noticed that entrepreneurs need today? Kasi over the years, and thanks to DTI and Kubo, who has really made it their mission to like cultivate and nurture the startup ecosystem. You have it all in place eh. So now parang next level na. Let's connect them to opportunities.
Yes. Talagang linkaging, no? Creating a community sa lahat ng mga entrepreneurs here in the Philippines. Napakaganda talagang endeavor nitong Spark Project. Thanks so much for that, Patch. Nabanggit mo kanina, you mentioned Kubo. I'm gonna ask this question to Kat. So Kubo is helping many change makers and incubating startups, no? So what support do you think impact entrepreneurs need in order to truly make the social impact they envision?
No, I definitely want to echo a lot of Patch's points. No, you know, I think that when we did the survey about parang what do you guys need entrepreneurs like both pre and post COVID, syempre funding is number one, and it's great that there's like platforms like the Spark Project now where you can get the users to really kind of invest behind the ideas that you have. But going beyond that, yun nga, I think it's a lot of it has to do with talent and acquiring the kind of talent you need to build your businesses.
Yeah.
It's also about getting customers, no? So as sexy as it is to get a venture capitalist to invest in your business, no? Parang what bigger vote of confidence and what more dollars or pesos do you need than actual customers paying for your product or service? Um,
Kat?
but in
Kat,
terms of
sorry.
like creating the social impact I envision, as I mentioned earlier, no, I don't think there's this dichotomy
Mm-mm.
between you have to choose these days between
Right.
impact and
Kat?
like what hello.
Kat,
I hope you
sorry
can
to
hear me.
interrupt you. Yeah, there's something wrong with your audio, and there's still feedback. Maybe can you just use your not use your AirPods na lang. so we can hear you
Oh,
properly.
let me yeah, go
Yeah,
on
yeah,
mute.
it's all right. It's all right. There.
Let me know if
Yeah.
it's
Okay.
better. Is this better?
There's still feedback though. Um,
Hello?
there. There's still feedback, Kat. I'm so sorry. There. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I'll answer later. But yeah, I guess you can
Okay.
move on
Yeah.
to me. Let
Okay.
me see if I can
Yeah, I'll
resolve
move
my
on to
audio
yes, yes.
issue.
The audio issues. Okay. Thanks, Kat. Thanks. We'll pause that question for later, and then we'll get back to you. Hi, Pam. Pam, this question is for you. So you're a young entrepreneur and you've joined some pitching, not if not some, a lot of pitching competitions and incubations even, no? So what made you take the first step towards starting your own business and what was it like for you since then?
Okay, hi. Wait, for me, can you hear me clearly?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. So, well, for me, really, the inspiration behind Phoenix was, I actually did kasi during my senior year in UP Dalaman, I was I took up clothing technology. During the final year, we did our individual thesis dissertations, and then I did one on the state of fashion social enterprises in the Philippines. And at that
Mm,
time, which was like 6 years ago pa, social entrepreneurship is kind of novelty pa siya nung time na yun. Parang
yeah,
it's new pa. But so for me, I was so inspired. I was like, I didn't know I can do fashion and do
right.
entrepreneurship for social good nga, like the topic of our talk tonight. And so I was really thinking of what social issue or environmental issue do I want to solve as a fashion entrepreneur. And the inspiration then was I realized wala pala tayong textile recycling center in the Philippines
Oh,
and more so in Southeast Asia. Like we only have two options when it comes to our old clothes. It's either we donate them or hand me down siya or we turn them into basahans. That's it. Those are
mm-mm.
our only two options. So I wanted Phoenix to be the place wherein you can actually donate your old clothes and fabric scraps and transform them into higher value products. So yeah, since then, like what you've mentioned, people actually call me Miss Contesera because I join a lot of pitching competitions only because I really don't come from a rich family, so I have to
Yeah,
kailangan ko talagang magpursige
yes,
to validate my startup and at the same time get funding.
right.
Usually, if you notice, actually, our track record, puro grants talaga yung ina-applyan ko because especially now it's such a good kumbaga yung ecosystem right now. It's really good for social enterprises kasi now people notice what social enterprises are because back then
Mm-mm.
when I started, people actually look down on us because they look at us as charity. Hindi pa nila
Mm-mm.
gets yung social entrepreneurship. So I really love it now that people actually embrace it. And so right now, nakikita naman natin everyone's into SDGs and do ito nga social enterprises. So so far right now, you know, it's been great. Ganon, so
Right.
far.
Mm-mm.
Except the pandemic, Yeah.
That's true. That's true. It's nakakatawa yung sinabi mo. Before kasi when you say social enterprise, people really don't have any idea what that is. And now they now
Yeah.
see the focus and the importance of the social word, the word social in the social enterprise, no?
Yes.
Um another thing napansin ko when Pam said that you're called a contesera, but that's a good
Yeah.
thing to have, no? The perseverance of our social entrepreneurs, diba? And now you're creating social good, diba? For people around you, for the community and for the country. So thank you for that, Pam. Okay, let's now go to Miss Joy. Miss Joy, how does the government, through DTI, support entrepreneurs? Alam ko po, they must have a lot of programs, but maybe you can zero in on the support for micro, small, and medium enterprises or yung tinatawag natin na MSMEs.
MSMEs, yes. Thank you, Germaine. Actually, CDTI kasi it's a really huge organization with different services that we offer. We are the primary agency for the development and promotion of micro, small, and medium enterprises. And our services and assistances to MSMEs include financing, marketing, promotion, access to technology, access to trainings, etc. So, let me just zero in siguro po kasi kami, ang mandate ng aming organization is on skills building, so on trainings. So,
Right.
we are the Philippine Trade Training Center, Global MSME Academy. Previously, we were just concerned on the larger scale ng mga enterprises, yung mga nasa towards exporting, and trade related na ang kanilang mga concerns. Now, with the assignment of our organization as a Global MSME Academy, we start from the startup. So from there up to the whole spectrum po hanggang sa lumaki na sila. So I actually agree with what Patch mentioned kanina. When you do interventions, it's not just a one-shot thing.
Mm-mm.
Parang si DTI, for example, we don't just give financing and then just let you go about your business.
Right.
So, for example, si Patch, they do crowdsourcing, crowdfunding kami. We offer the training that will accompany the money that will be given to the
Mm-mm.
enterprises para hindi siya magamit, for example, for domestic use
Yes.
or for
Yes.
other purposes. Of course, it will be used sa enterprise at magagamit siya so that the enterprise would grow, and then from being a small enterprise, maybe they could grow into a medium enterprise, etc. So now that during the COVID times, we actually have a lot of partnerships, public and private. So it's another important thing. The government doesn't do it alone. We
Mm.
also do it with organizations, with MSMEs, as well as the private organizations.
Thank you, Ms. Joy. Talagang we really need the help of the private institution. It's a partnership, di ba, to really make sure na natutulungan yung ating mga entrepreneurs, specifically ngayon, no, lalo na ngayong panahon ng pandemic. All right. So, let's backtrack a little bit po. For those who are still contemplating about starting their own enterprise, what advice could you give to someone who wants to start a business but does not know yet what specific business to work on? I'll start with Pam.
Okay, sure. With me talaga, my advice has always been start with a problem na close to your
Mm-mm.
heart or like hugot mo talaga. Kasi like for me, for example, frustration ko, textile waste. Bakit walang proper textile disposal avenue? Parang ganon. Kasi it's really hard to put up a business and to run it.
Right.
And so
Right.
parang if hindi mo siya hugot, mawawalan ka agad ng gana. So I think
Mm-mm.
that's my number one, if you're starting, like make it a personal why kasi or you make it a personal hugot so that it gives you that parang on in sa bad days of running your business meron kang paghuhugutan and like a purpose of why you're actually doing that business. Well, that's
Mm-mm.
for me. Yan.
Okay. Thanks, Pam. So yung something that you're really passionate about, no? Kasi mas alam mong you can make more social impact and social good if it's something really close to your heart. Thanks for that, Pam. Patch, what can you advise people?
Yeah, I would just add to what Pam said. It yes, so you start with a problem and you start with something that's close to your heart or like what you feel passionate about. I guess once you've set that, my advice also is when you start, usually it becomes analysis paralysis for the entrepreneur. Like you have this idea and then parang you want it to be big right away. But you know, if you want to start something, don't don't be afraid to start small or just move that needle or like move.
Mm.
If your whole journey is like 10 steps, you have to make that first step, diba? So, and sometimes that first step might be super unglamorous and super small effort, but you do it anyway because that's where you learn. And then kadikit na rin nun as you go. Don't be afraid to fail
Mm-mm.
because
Yeah.
it's the whole thing is a learning experience. Yes, you have a problem that you want to solve and you don't get to solve it first time around. Some people are lucky to do that, but some people get to that point of that product market fit because they tested it so many times with so many different people. So yeah, don't be afraid to find a why, find a problem that you're passionate about. Get started, no matter how small it is, and then continuously learn.
Yes. Thanks, Patch. No matter how small or unglamorous, like what you mentioned,
Yeah.
the first step is just do it. Just try it, and maybe you know what will happen next. You can be successful. It's a enterprise that you're trying to do. Okay.
Yeah.
How about Miss Joy?
Hi, thanks for the question. Actually, that's the most common question na naitatanong sa amin sa DTI. May lalapit sa amin, I want to start my own business, but I don't know what business. Parang, can you tell us? And it's not our job actually. We would never tell you, ito yung gagawin mo because it will come from you. Like what Pam said, you should look at your passions. What do you really want? What is it that you're so into na kahit na parang ang pangit-pangit na ng araw mo, you still want to go to your MSME, you still want to go to your office and work because you love what you're doing. You love your product, you love your service. Now, sometimes some other entrepreneurs, they opt to look outside naman, which is
Mm-mm.
also okay. You look at outside, you see what is needed by other people that you can solve. Or if it's something that is already existing, look at how you can do it better, faster,
Mm-mm.
and now during COVID, maybe safer. So there's a lot of actually questions that entrepreneurs could ask themselves. Paano nila malalaman what is the best business for them to work on? And the trick is, if you start a business and it doesn't work, just try again. Kasi it's in the resilience that you get to succeed. Parang if you're really an entrepreneur, you will have that drive to really find that one thing that you would be really successful
Right.
in, and it would provide value not only for you but sa mga customers mo.
Yes. Thanks, Miss Joy. Just keep on going, no? Like, don't be afraid. Okay, thanks, Miss Joy. Hi, Kat. Welcome back.
Let's see, let's try.
Yes,
You
yeah, there's
know,
no more feedback there. Okay, so the question is, Kat, what advice would you give someone who wants to start a business but does not know yet what specific business to work on?
so I super agree with all of our panelists, no? Like, finding your hugot, finding your why, and something you're passionate about, and you can go back to no matter how shitty it gets, quote unquote. No? It's definitely where what you should do. Because I will say that, starting a business is not easy. Like,
Mm,
if you're in it for the easy money and the sexiness of being like whatever, no, parang that's not the way to go. That, however, maybe para maiba lang or to just give a different point of view, I will also advise our aspiring entrepreneurs. It's not just about thinking about your problem, but thinking about a big problem. So I think the interesting thing about social enterprise and also about the Philippines and is that there are more places in the world that look like Philippines, Manila, ganon, than Palo Alto and some of these Silicon Valley things, no? So there are big problems out there to solve. If it's a problem for you, it's probably a problem for millions of people out there. And
right,
if you're looking for funding, which is again the most popular request, the thing that most investors look for is this a problem? Is this more importantly a solution that you know it's not just in the region, not just the community you work with, but actually in the nation, in the world, 'di ba? Like marami bang matutulungan yung solution mo. So
right,
the bigger the problem, and never let a good problem go to waste. No, the bigger the problem, the bigger the opportunity. So yun nga, my observation, for example, dito sa COVID, di ba? Like, yes, it sucked for so many people. It sucks for me. I hate, like, I would love to have had this talk with all of you guys in person. Pinakain nyo kami, di ba? Like, in person. But the thing is, like, this whole pandemic has been, like, a really, a catalyst for a lot of entrepreneurs, di ba? They've seen this problem and they've actually converted it. It's accelerated their
right.
businesses. Because the bigger the problem is, the bigger the opportunity space to create something new. And yun nga, I can't totally agree with Joy. We can't tell you what to work on and what you feel passionate about, what will make you get up in the morning and make you both CEO and chief janitor officer, 'di ba? Para because it has to be that kind of business. Pero at the end of the day, um if you're solving a big problem, hopefully a problem that has, 'di ba, a business model that has a global impact or at least a regional one or
Mm-mm.
millions of users, 'di ba? If it's something that's scalable, I think that's something that I would encourage a lot of our aspiring business people to work on. Kasi if you're just copying something that everyone's done before or parang it's a tiny idea, 'di ba? I don't know, like hindi naman sayang yung effort nyo, pero your impact as an entrepreneur and as a social entrepreneur can go so much longer, bigger, 'di ba? If you're tackling a big problem. So,
Right.
it's scary, of course, syempre, pero the bigger the problem, the bigger the opportunity. That's my take on this question.
Thanks, Kat. So the bigger the problem, the bigger the opportunity. Maybe the bigger opportunity also to create social impact, social good, and then nag-ripple yung effects ng inyong ginagawa na social good and yung enterprise that you have. Okay. So, speaking of social good, when we think of businesses for social good, some may be thinking about corporate social responsibility of or your CSRs. So the big question is how can entrepreneurs contribute to social good? And also, how can businesses, especially new ones, be designed in such a way that they truly benefit others in a sustainable way and not just a one-time program? Medyo maraming levels yung question. I'll repeat it again. So when we think about social, corporate social responsibility or CSR, no, the big question is how can entrepreneurs contribute to social good, and also how businesses, especially the new ones, be designed in such a way that they truly benefit in a sustainable way and not just through a one-time program. I'll start with Patch.
Okay, wow. I'll take a stab at it.
Okay.
So, of the many years I've been kind of embedded in the local social entrepreneurship scene, I have learned that, business for good, since this is a topic, it's really a spectrum of different organizations trying to tackle a problem and create positive change and social impact. So you have here your nonprofit organizations on one end who really live out of, let's say, grants, and then you have here on the opposite end corporations who are really for profit. And then in the middle ground, and of course, like ano na yan, spectrum na yan, you have your social enterprises who use business models, profit generating models, but also acknowledge that their existence has a higher purpose or has a purpose of intentional, conscious, positive impact. So now the idea here is for us to bring everybody maybe closer to the center where big corporations, which is right now, I really could see it, that that's where, yeah, big corporations are seeing things with a social lens. And that's where your CSR actually really works well. Or parang you had CSR, 30 years ago, but usually CSR is parang used to kind of like avoid taxes or like pabango. But now corporations see the value of CSR. So if you're corporate, if you're a big company, CSR is actually a good platform for you to create change. You're a big company, you have big impact. So if you change it, say let's all switch to plastic. No, baliktad. Let's all switch to non-plastic related stuff. Then the impact really, let's go zero carbon, whatever, then ang laki ng pwede mong magawa, right?
Yeah.
So I think for bigger businesses, having that consciousness and using your platform, whatever, no matter how big or small your company is, especially for big business, to use that platform not just as a pabango or not just like a glossy, we have a foundation, but really use it to be able to create impact and also use your same business sense to actually create programs that's sustainable, or if not, be able to use your platform to help encourage other entrepreneurs to create solutions for better good, right? And then yung mga nonprofits naman that are all aren't so business savvy, the invitation for them is really to be more enterprising,
Yeah.
to see how they can use naman their passion to make the world a better place into something that's more sustainable. So it's like merging those two worlds. And that's where I guess this whole topic of social businesses come. Na are trying, parang ngayon, mas nasa-surface siya. And especially now in this whole COVID generation or COVID era, post-pandemic era, mas na-realize natin na kailangan mas conscious tayo sa mga ginagawa natin. As a normal citizen, as a business, as an entrepreneur, or as a corporation.
Thanks, Pacho. Thank you, bringing everyone in the center. There's a center, may center point talaga. No, you can compromise, you can do business in a sustainable way, helping people, and you can do good while being sustainable at the same time. Thank you so much, Patch. Miss Joy, I'll ask the question to you, po.
Hi, thank you. Um, Actually, when I encountered yung main theme nitong ating session, Entrepreneurship for Social Good, it came to mind yung aming hashtag sa aming organization, which is Training for Nation Building. So the reason why we are training entrepreneurs, because we also believe that they can contribute to nation building. In the same way that we are not just diploma mills na nagtitrain lang
Mm-hmm.
kami at nagbibigay ng certificates, we build you up. We build up the entrepreneurs so that they themselves also can help build up our economy. And I think that's one really good thing that in how entrepreneurs can contribute to social good. In a way naman, dito sa second question natin, how businesses can be designed in such a way that they can truly benefit others in
Mm-hmm.
a sustainable way. Siguro ang isa kong nakikita dito is yung konsepto ng business continuity planning or business sustainability plan. They have to be sustainable themselves first. Yung business model nila, like ngayon, it's really tested now that there's COVID kasi yung iba wala tayong contingency plan or business continuity plan. So I think the model itself should be in a way, hindi siya set in stone, but as what Patch mentioned earlier, you should be ready to pivot and you should also capacitate your work, your MSME, and yourself to have that capacity to change because change is the only constant thing naman. So
Right.
anyway, that's what I see how we can make businesses more sustainable.
Thank you, Miss Joy. Kailangan, we have a contingency plan. Handa tayo for any changes, no? Yung signs of the times, di ba? Maraming nangyayari, maraming pagbabago. Thanks for that, Miss Joy. How about Kat?
Yeah, again, I find myself agreeing with the previous two speakers. No,
Mhm.
you can't do good unless you do well for yourself. Parang
Yes.
kahit ang ganda ng idea mo, pero you're not sustainable, you're not making profit, you're not serving your customers, and again, they're voting with their dollars. No, you really can't make it work. So that's absolutely important. And yun nga, in the same vein, I do agree with Patch also. No, so but I will say na, yun nga, I guess, I think at some point, parang in the past, CSR had this reputation of being window dressing. And I think parang Patch alluded to this earlier. I do feel like, I don't know, mas woke na ba tayo? I think our average age in this particular panel is relatively young, no? Parang, I will say na parang I think it's not just, because you want to please some kind of sustainability CSR target, but as a business, it's, I would think, impossible to really succeed, no? And it's not just now, pero looking at like 5, 10, 20 years into the future, no, without really considering the impact that your business
Mhm.
has on livelihood, on the environment, on the economy, diba? So I think, if anything, like all of the additional exposure we have in the internet, yun nga, mas woke na, yung may Gen Z, like, staff, no, they're all like, even more militant about this than I am. But with the times, no, your consumers, your customers, in the end, you're there to serve them. um I think we are seeing a bigger demand na parang from businesses na it's not okay anymore to just be doing profit at the extent,
Right.
to the at the expense rather of, 'di ba, parang doing damage to
Right.
certain communities or the environment. And yun nga, in order to do well, you also need to do good. And again, if any shareholder, any business is smart, they're gonna listen to this feedback, 'di ba, and they're gonna turn this into something. And we're already seeing that now. So, um again, I don't think there's a dichotomy or conflict when it comes to this. Parang, as if you're only starting now, diba? And I guess it's the sort of topic today na, if you're just starting your business, I don't, yun nga, your model should incorporate like this notion, this vision for creating good in the world. Why not, right?
Right.
But also, you'd be kind of stupid not to, no? So that's again my take on this. But yeah.
Thanks, Kat. For you to do well, you need to do good. I'll remember that all the time. Thank you. Thanks, Kat. How about Pam?
Okay, for me naman, like, I just want to share, like, both my undergrad dissertation and my master's dissertation actually focused on the business models of fashion social enterprises. And I'm just so lucky because it has always been the goal of Phoenix to aim for the triple bottom line, which is
Hmm.
for the planet, for the people and for profit. And we started with just for the planet. Our mission was really to do provide solutions for textile waste, so for the planet. And then what we decided on is that our products will be in partnership with the marginalized community, so for the people. But we also made it sure that, like what Kat said, we should also be for profit. We are financially sustainable so that we can actually reach our environmental and social goals. And I think what makes social enterprises different from, like, let's say a regular or like an annual one-time CSR program is that for social enterprises, the triple bottom line is considered in every step of the supply chain. Because let's just say in the fashion industry, if you notice, for example, big brands like the fast fashion brands, right now people are calling them out for producing so much waste in the planet. So, kunyari maglalabas sila ng conscious or like environmentally conscious collections, ganyan, ganyan. But if you really look at it, yeah, they use environmentally friendly fabrics, but still the people who create the garments are underpaid. So hindi pa rin inisip yung for the people. So it's not the triple bottom line. It's not holistic. So what makes us different is yung social enterprises, every step of the supply chain, iniisip yung impact. So yeah, I think that's what you should do to design your business, no, for good. Every step of your supply chain, inisip mo yung environmental and social impact.
Yes. Thanks, ma'am. Talagang every step of the way you think about yung impact to the community, to the planet, at sa lahat ng, in order for it to be sustainable. Okay, we have a question. It's related to the question that I asked you earlier. We have a question from our audience, from Timothy Salomon. Thank you very much for the wonderful insights, particularly on the point, on the bigger the problem, the bigger the opportunity. Do you agree with this? Just wanted to ask if there is a consciousness for our social enterprises to eventually provide capacities to its downstream stakeholders, such as producers and workers who tend to represent the poor, with the end of turning over the business to them. Many thanks. Okay, so I'll repeat that again. Just wanted to ask if there is a consciousness or conscious effort for our social enterprises to eventually provide capacities to its downstream stakeholders, such as the producers and workers who tend to represent the poor, with the end of turning over the business to them. Okay. Who wants to start answering this question?
I think I can go.
Okay, go
sorry,
first,
Pat.
Pam. Go
Yeah,
first,
go
Pam.
Sorry, no, but me, I just want to share our experience with, for example, our zapateros and our weavers. The goal of actually turning over the business, parang wala pa siya sa conversation namin.
Mm-mm.
Our goal is really parang for them to graduate kasi a lot of them didn't have jobs actually. So the fact na sumali sila in our team is for them to have job opportunities. But what when we had like when we have our parang yung sharing sessions namin together, parang what they really wanted is to have, it's either for them to have a stable job. Kasi nga, ito yung artisans kasi kami, usually sila talaga yung nawawalan ng trabaho, lalo na nung pandemic. It's either having a stable income or like for them to actually be a third party, parang i-outsource na lang namin sila. Parang they can have their own business as a producer and not really for us to hand over our business to them, but for us to be eventually partners. Parang ganon na. So, I mean, to answer the question, yun yung experience namin. You know, yun yung level na gusto nila reach.
Okay.
That's my experience.
Thanks for
Pat?
that, Pam. So it was very, very consultative. Okay, Pat?
Yeah, I agree with Pam. Like as a social entrepreneur, that consciousness of being able to share the wealth with their partners and treating their communities as stakeholders of their company. So hindi lang sila manggagawa, hindi lang sila workers, hindi lang sila farmers, but as a founder, as the business itself, they treat them as stakeholders and even future partners, or actually partners for their business. Which reminds me also of like a talk, a session that we did last year in Philippine Startup Week with sila Kat sa Kubo. It's usually kasi when we talk about exiting, 'di ba? So this is like down the road for a startup or a social enterprise. Usually you exit, either you IPO or you get, ano ba? Kat, help me out here. You merger and acquisition. So
M&A,
those are like
yes.
different exits, or you become filthy rich, right? What our session was in Philippine Startup Week last year was a type of exit which we call exit to community. So you can search it on YouTube, Philippine Startup Week 2020, the one that we hosted. It's called Exit to Community, and gist nun is that yun na parang the purpose of the social enterprise, since it's social but it's still an enterprise, is to generate profit, but also to be able to distribute the wealth to those that are marginalized. So it's a long way. It's a long game talaga.
Mm-mm.
But the goal there is to eventually be able to, if you treat your stakeholders or like your community as partners and as stakeholders, eventually you will uplift everybody, diba, through your business. And yeah, so that's it's possible. And in fact, hindi siya parang trend lang siya ngayon.
Mm-mm.
If you look at different models from the past, like cooperatives, that's the main purpose of cooperatives, being able to have the people who, like an example, ngayon lang kasi common yung cooperatives sa farming model or like sa fisher folk model, and ganon. But basically, it could be applied in any type of
Right.
community, that everybody can be part and have a stake in the business and share the wealth for everyone. So if everybody has that mindset or going into the business, ganun na yung consciousness na we want everybody's lives to be uplifted, then yun, long game siya, pero it's possible. So yeah, check
Mm-mm.
out Exit to Community. It gives you a different point of view on how you can build your business that would benefit benefit the community, and eventually have the whole community involved and benefit also from the profit that's generated by the business.
Thanks, Patch and Pang. As
Sobrang
you can see, I'm
quick
smiling
lang
from ear
to
to ear.
add. I
Napakaganda.
do
Go
think
ahead,
that's
go
a
ahead.
great thing about entrepreneurship. Like, one, yun nga, if you're joining a company early, like there's definitely an
Right.
opportunity for you to kind of grow with the company and see what it's going, di ba? Parang, and
Mm-mm.
reap the benefits from that. And actually very uso rin sa startups. Yun nga, parang I think co-ops were probably the old school, like, other way to call it, no? Pero sa startup jargon, it's like ESOPs and stuff like that. Tapos,
Mm-mm.
pero when you join a startup, like, it's very typical na as part of your compensation, it's really not just like your monthly salary, but also the equity stake that you have
Mm-mm.
as
Mm-mm.
part of being one of the founding members of this company, no? So I think that's a kind of a cool thing of being part of a starting new business. And yeah, definitely check out like exit the community and also all the cool programs we have to startup week. But yeah, thanks for that question, it was really a good one. And yes, absolutely, like the short answer, no, there's so many ways na not just the poor per se, pero like the different stakeholders can benefit from a new business, though. And I think that's part of the beauty of it. That's why all of us in this panel are doing this stuff, no? So yeah.
Thanks, Kat. I'm smiling from ear to ear because I really like your answer. Like, as a rural development advocate, works with farmers and fisher folks and indigenous peoples. Definitely, you need to treat your stakeholders as your partners. That in itself is social impact and social good. Miss Joy, anything to add to the answers of our panelists?
I actually agree with all of them. And on our part, whenever we do trainings, we also try to emphasize na parang they're not just thinking about their own businesses, but they're also uplifting the businesses of those that are supplying them as well as those that are buying from them. So kaya siya tinawag na value chain. We provide value all throughout the chain. So that's it.
Thanks, Ms. Joy. Okay, we have one last question. In 2018, the Ease of Doing Business Act was introduced in the Philippines. That's Republic Act 11032. So, as entrepreneurs, have you seen any significant improvement in the way of conducting business in the country, specifically for startups? Or maybe you have personal experiences or observations that you want to share for some who may be wondering how easy it really is to start a business in the Philippines. I'll start with Kat.
I mean, okay, like this law has helped, but at the same time, I still won't say it's easy, no? Parang I don't wanna like kind of lie to anyone that's listening na parang madali na mag-start ng business sa Philippines. It's not Estonia where you can like click on like sabi nila 3 minutes daw doon you can start a company na. Actually, well, I will say though that there has been significant strides made in the
Right.
government, in the various agencies, no, and at least more aware that there's a problem. I think the bigger issue nga, sometimes it's not even, we talk a lot in startup world, no, about being able to pivot. What does that mean, diba? You shut down your business, you change your idea, and that's okay. And it's okay to fail. So sometimes, like, actually, we've done quite a few things. So it's meron na mga one-stop shop that makes it quite easy for you to start your business. Pero honestly, guys, medyo mahirap pa rin to change your idea and shut down your business, for example, or deal with your taxes and your employees and all that. So being an entrepreneur, it's for me still really hard. I'm sorry to say that from my own experience, but there are quite a few organizations that are here to help you, us included, the PTTC, diba? Spark Project if you need funding, for example. No? So maraming, so it's getting better. So this act and also the Innovative Startup Act, diba? And a few others, at least it's brought to light the issues. We are listening and we're working on it, no? So,
Right.
yun si Neda, I know Pam has worked with them, no? Maraming nangyayari. So, we're making progress. Hindi naman na as if we're at the same place as we are before. But, yun nga, don't go into the startup world, the entrepreneurship life if you think na it's just gonna be easy and sexy and fun, no? Kasi, most of you will not be Mark Zuckerberg or Elon Musk, unfortunately. But that being said, it's still super rewarding, super fulfilling. You can make a huge impact in the world. Tsagaan lang natin. This is, yun nga, I said this earlier, bigger problem, bigger opportunity, marami pa tayong problema, and you can be part of the solution. So, law or not, I think naman, like, please, kapit lang, guys. Please work with us.
Yes.
So, I'll stop there. Pero, yeah, those are my thoughts on that.
Thanks, Kat. How about Patch?
Yeah, I feel like there are a lot of improvements. Feeling ko kasi like when we talk about ease of doing business, the first thing that comes to mind is registering your business. And when I registered my business way back in 2013, 12, I must say medyo mahirap pa siya. And I did another business like way before that pa, mga 2005. Medyo nakamdaman ko pa yung non-ease of doing business. But I know now, not me personally, but you know the businesses that I've interacted with through Spark Project, it's much faster than before. So I would say I would agree with Kat na there have been improvements and strides and other programs also by the government, like the things that BTI is doing, keeping up to the times and the needs of the entrepreneurs, even the existence of Kubo, right? So parang those are like things that we've seen in the past 10 years that have eased anyone aspiring entrepreneur to get into that entrepreneurship journey. So yeah, that's my take on the question.
Thanks, Patch. Pam.
As for me, I just want to share sobrang funny because last year, parang the British Embassy asked me to talk about my experience with the ease of doing business law and how I benefited from it. And to be honest, I didn't know that law existed because wala talaga akong ease na naramdaman like ever since I started my business. And it was so sad because my like Phinix, we were actually incubated by the Malaysian government. We were part of the Magic's Global Accelerator program. And sobrang na-compare ko talaga yung experience ko in Malaysia versus in the Philippines and how they made it so easy for me to get an entrepreneur visa, to sell my stuff there, to have a place at the mall there, compared to that here. And if you actually notice our track record also, all our grants came from yung funding namin, lahat international. Because nahihirapan kaming kumuha at the local scene. But like what Kat said, to be honest, things are improving now. Like I'm super happy for aspiring entrepreneurs because there are so many opportunities right now. And like for example, I joined this competition 2 weeks ago with Patch. He was our coach, and I was telling him I'm so happy because this competition is for like sustainable enterprises. We're in 5 years ago, enterprises like us, people would think, ano yan, anong ginagawa nyo?
Mm-mm.
So like right now, the opportunities are getting better na, like what Kat mentioned, like NEDA, DTI, even the UST, they're already giving funding for startups, which is super good na. So
Right.
kahit hindi siya ease of doing business, madami ng opportunities for startups. Yan. Personal
Thanks, Pam.
experience lang, guys.
Yeah. May improvements naman. How, Miss Joy, what are your insights on sinabi natin mga social entrepreneurs?
I was actually taking down notes. Thank you so much for your honest feedback. Actually, nakakatuwa naman. We accept both the ano naman the negative, the positive, kasi lahat 'yun makakatulong din how we can
Right.
improve our services. And I agree. I agree. The important thing is to continue moving forward. So we have improved on one side of the process. Sabihin natin, we streamlined it, we put it online, the business registration is now online. Basta will keep on moving forward and improving our services because the MSMEs deserve that. I mean, yung mahirap na nga magnegosyo, pahirapan mo pa siya mag-start magnegosyo, talagang hindi na siya magsisimula. So, yung pagsisimula, doon namin tinututukan yun para mas maraming magsimula. And hopefully, mas marami ding matulungan kaming masustain, magtuloy-tuloy siya. So, thank you so much for your honest feedback.
Thank you so much, Miss Joy. Okay, before we end our program, I'd like to ask for the parting message or parting words for our viewers from our guests for tonight. Let me start with Patch.
Well, thank you for having us this evening. Yeah, I feel strongly about the topic tonight. So thank you for having me. And yeah, I go back to what I started, what I said at the beginning, that doing business for good is parang it's a conscious effort. It's about the leadership or the people running the business. Being able to be mindful of how their business impacts society. And sometimes it's not always the popular decision. So if you're just looking at it in a hat na parang for profit lang, sometimes you get into business decisions that would choose you to be more exploitative. And the invitation here now, or my message now, is that when you want to be a social enterprise or a business who's a conscious company, you make those tough decisions also for the benefit of the marginalized or for the benefit of the environment or the people. And sana more businesses get to that kind of consciousness because with that, parang everybody's lives improve. That's it.
Thanks, Patch. Miss Joy?
Hi. Thank you. Siguro what I'll just do is repeat our hashtag, which is training for nation building, because we are doing that specifically for the entrepreneurs because we believe that they contribute to nation building as well. Just like what Patch said, it's not just building a business for profit, but it's also contributing to the nation's economy, to the lives of all of the workers there, to the community, to all the people buying your product, buying your services. So for us at PTTC Jimea, if you have a business idea, go for it. And mandami-dami kasi mga business ideas that just parang they stay on the paper, parang business plan lang siya. For us to be able to do good, we have to act on that idea. So we believe in you as the training arm of DTI, and we're here to help the entrepreneurs so that we could contribute all to nation building.
Thanks, Miss Joy. Pam?
For me naman, like starting a social enterprise, it's a really good thing, like people think it's such a noble thing to do, but I would also like to remind like aspiring and current social entrepreneurs na ang totoong laban ay nasa baba. Wow. Parang but really it's true, like for you to really get your impact, nasa baba yung laban, and you really have to focus on that. Tapos second is for those naman who want to support social enterprises. I'm speaking as a social entrepreneur and someone from the fashion industry here in the Philippines. Please support local kasi ang totoo naman naming kalaban ay Western brands. So parang love your own, go local, support whether it's from the fashion social enterprises to the food all other industries, support local, because that's the only way. If you can't be an entrepreneur yourself, then that's how you can support entrepreneurs like us. Thank you.
Thanks, Pam. How about Kat?
Sobrang ganda ng mga final words. I super agree with Pam, no? Please, like, the number one thing startups need are more customers. So, support our local companies and businesses. Pero, yeah, I guess I have three super quick messages. One, you just really need to start. Kahit ang ganda ng idea mo or you want to help people, you're not gonna help anyone unless you actually do it and you actually try it out. Second thing, there are people here to help. So, Kubo, our name comes from the Bahay Kubo, Bayanihan, di ba? Pero, yeah, we work with DTI, we work with Pam, she's a community advocate. Si Patch naman, Spark Project, like, it's a part of our community. Like, I think we're all working together and we're rooting for you. We want to support the Filipino businesses. So, you know, if you are kind of on the fence, do it na lang. And we're gonna work with you and we're gonna help you make it happen. It's not gonna be easy, but we'll try. And of course, my final message and of course, I need to plug.
Okay, I think we're having a little bit of.
Also, maraming members of the startup community will be joining us for Philippine Startup Week, and I hope to see you there. So yeah, those are my three parting words.
Thanks so much for our panelists tonight, for sharing your wisdom and experiences with us this lovely Wednesday evening. We do appreciate your time. Once again, thank you, Katrina Chan, Pamela Mejia, Patch Dulay, and Jocelle Mamaril. Thank you so much. Have a great evening. Okay, for our aspiring entrepreneurs, you heard what our panelists said. Don't be afraid to start. Take the first step. Don't be afraid to make mistakes and to continue and to forge on. But always have in mind that in every step you take, think about how you can create impact on the community and do good for the people and the planet. Now let's get to know some allies in promoting entrepreneurship in the Philippines. That's here on The Spotlight. On our spotlight this month, get to know the Spark Project, founded by our guest earlier, Patch Dulay. The Spark Project is an enabling platform for entrepreneurs, change makers, and their supporters. Whether you are a creator or founder or someone who would like to support initiatives or work with the Spark Project as a partner, this platform is a one-stop hub for all of those. Go to the sparkproject.com where you'll find different ways on how you can find support or give support to many groups and individuals who would like to make things happen. This is a helpful platform, especially for entrepreneurs and project founders, as you will also find here links to tools, courses, podcasts, and a way to connect to a community of entrepreneurs who are out to make a positive impact in the lives of many. And that's it for our feature tonight. Again, that's the Spark Project. Please visit thesparkproject.com. Now let's see what else we can do for hashtag real impact. Let's find out what's next. Coming up are some opportunities that you may grab. To register in these sessions, scan the QR code on your screen for the following webinars. On November 11th, that's a Thursday, there's a webinar on creative hubs and community-based enterprises hosted by the Philippine Women's College of Davao and DACUN. And on November 12th, Friday, Agripreneurship in Action hosted by the Palawan State University. And on November 13th, that's a Saturday, there is a business idea pitching competition by the CEED Philippines. Also, join in the Philippine Startup Week from November 15 to 19. The theme this year is Beyond Recovery, Filipino Startups Redefining Opportunity. Please visit phstartupweek.com for more information. Again, that's phstartupweek.com for more information. And we will be back here on hashtag chat up for a conversation on education. And on that note, we also invite you to join Education USA virtual advising sessions. For graduate studies, it's happening on November 19th, Friday from 5 to 6 p.m. And for undergraduate studies, join the session on November 22nd, Monday from 2 to 3 p.m. Education USA is here to inform, guide, and advise Filipinos interested and qualified to study in the US to their best fit educational destination. To register, you may visit www.educationusa.org/advising-group. And that's it, chatmates. Thank you for joining us today. If you found our chat helpful, then share our live stream so more people can watch our chat. Use our hashtags hashtag chat up and hashtag real talk, real impact. Also, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Quarantalk Media, and follow us on Facebook for more updates and exciting programs. That's at Quarantalk Media. And we're also on Twitter. Our handle is at Quarantalk Media. I am Germaine de Ruña. Connect with me online on these different social media platforms. For Twitter, it's at Germaine J. De Runa. For Instagram, it's at Germaine Jalandoni De Runa. And for Facebook, it's at Germaine Jalandoni De Runa. And join me again on November 17th, same time, 7 p.m. for another Real Talk here on hashtag Chat Up, Real Talk, Real Impact. Good night, everyone.
If you are one of the Filipinos na gaya ko na gustong mag-aral sa US, ito ang 5 steps na dapat mong pagdaanan. Step 1. Research your options. Alamin kung saan mo gustong tumira sa US, ang course na gusto mong pag-aralan, at ang mga universities and colleges na pwede mong pasukan. Narrow down your options as much as possible and do your research 12 to 18 months prior to the academic year. Step 2. Finance your studies. It is a must to know kung paano mo susuportahan financially ang studies mo sa US. Step 3. Complete your application. Hindi pare-pareho ang application process sa schools. Kaya make sure to do your research. Universities and colleges may require recommendations, essays, at iba't ibang standard examinations. Step 4. Apply for your student visa. Kapag okay na ang admission mo sa university, the university will give you an I-24. Nakakailanganin mo para magbayad ng SEVIS fee. Ang required na visa processing fee ay $160. Hindi ka makakapag-apply ng visa kapag wala ka pang admission, I-20 at bayad na SEVIS. Step 5. Prepare for your departure. Siguraduhin kumpleto lahat ng travel documents at plansyado ng lahat ang travel arrangements mo. You can also talk to our Education USA advisors and attend a free pre-departure orientation at Education USA. For more details and information about the 5 steps to study, bisitahin ang Education USA Philippines Facebook page. Happy studying! Kita-kits sa States!
together, and we learn together, we work together, and we prosper together.